Hi there, welcome to the Law Camp. Thank you for joining me today. So today's episode we are going to look at negligence and the main checklist. Okay, so this is, as I said in my previous video, it's going to be about structure. Alright, so let's start with, we need to always establish the claimant and the dependent. That is step 1. Who is alleging who? Step 2, we need to establish whether there's a duty of care. Means that the defendant has a duty of care over the claimant. So there's two ways. One is the established duty of care, which we know, parent to a child, the doctor to a patient. So these are the established one, like road users. They have a duty of care to other road users on the road and even the pedestrian. So in the duty of care, the other one is the novel duty of care. So generally this, when it doesn't fall in the regular situation of the established, you have to create the novel duty of test, which you use the test of the Caparo. Caparo is a 3-stage test that you have to do. So this is the main thing you must know. There's no established duty situation. You must do a Caparo 3-stage test to look into a novel duty situation, which will establish the duty of care from the defendant to the claimant. Next, that is step 2. Step 3 is the breach of this duty of care that you have established in step 2. So to test that is the 2-stage test. The 2-stage test. The first one is the question of law, which is the reasonable standard of care of the same person doing the same thing. Alright? So the second one is the question of fact. So it will be based on what the fact is written in your exam question, right? So the question of fact is, did they fall below the reasonable standard of care? So step 4 is the causation of damage. The causation of damage is the first one is the factual causation, which is the basic test, the but for. So but for, if it didn't that, the harm wouldn't have been suffered. Yeah. So in the basic factual test is also the modified test, where you can materially contribute to the harm or the risk of the harm. So if you can establish that, we got your factual causation sorted. And then you need to look into the legal causation, which is the remoteness of damage. You use the Weger mold number 1, and then you need to do the similarly in type, and then you can also look at eggshell skull rule. You take your victim as you find him, right? And once you establish the causation, another thing you have to address in this part is the new intervening act. Was there an intervening act by a third party or a claimant? Did they do something to break the cause? Did they break something to break the chain of causation? Yeah. So once that's sorted, if everything is a yes, you got it, the facts goes in nicely, then we talk about defenses. Remember, as a lawyer, you must always look at both sides to see how well you can help obtain the damages, or how you can defend your client. So you must always look at defenses, and the standard 3 defenses that always comes out in negligence. The first one is voluntary assumption of risk, which we need to know that in the Road Traffic Act, there is no such thing called, they do not take in consideration of the voluntary assumption of risk. So that you must know. Basically it's about consent, isn't it? And the second one is contributory negligence, and they have different for special visitors like children. Yeah. And how much have they contributed to the injury? The third one is illegality. Illegality, generally it's like a criminal act being done, like during robbery, you fall and you ask for damages on the policeman. No, you're not gonna get it, bro. Sorry. Yeah, so generally when you have this structure in the whole of negligence, you could just repeat and apply it. This is the structure for it. And of course then you look at the damages they're going to get, which you can follow up with it in the next workshop, which I will do just on damages. Alright, otherwise have a good day. Thank you for joining me at the Law Gap. Follow me on Instagram if you can. If you like this video, click a thumbs up, subscribe and share.